And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast. We are here to preview the final major of the 2025 season, the 2025 Open Championship, the British Open. We'll get you covered with all our thoughts, histories, and much more on the event. But before we get to that, you can follow me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Always Press DFS, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing great. It's a nice little Monday here. We had a little linksy golf at the Scottish Open. Some say not really because it's not your standard links, but we have the Open Championship this week, and weather is already becoming an issue. So pretty pumped for that. You mentioned you didn't watch much this weekend. I didn't watch much, but I will say this much. Chris Goddard went head-to-head with Rory McIlroy and came out victorious, which to me is pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, I fully expected him to collapse when he was leading on going into Saturday, and he held on all the way through Sunday. So, yeah, very impressive showing from him. From what I heard, it was a lot of driver and putter being hot. So, but I also kind of heard that the guys weren't very impressed or happy with the golf course.
No, that's been a theme. Like, there's a lot of pictures. The little bit I did get to see was like Scotty couldn't putt like usual. Like, he's doing everything else right. It's the old, if he could putt like barely, he'd win. Rory was complaining. He says like one of the most like worst greens he's ever played on. They were very bumpy. Like, I read Michael Kim's thoughts, like he always posts after a tournament, and he had said it's a really nice course, this and that. The greens were bumpy, as he said, and that makes things a little tricky, all things considered. But to your Goddard up drive and putt thing, and I'm the recaps on the replaying it right now. He's all black Nike. I've seen Brooks wear this before, and it's funny because now seeing him, I saw a tweet last night that said Goddard's basically Brooks Koepka if he drank Bud Light instead of snorted cocaine. I started laughing. I'm like, okay, that's funny. And then I see this, and I'm like, okay, I kind of see that as well. Now that you mention it, but I wasn't on Goddard up at all. But you look at his recent form; it's pretty dang impressive. I'll say that much.
So. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like I mentioned him last week. I can't remember for sure, but I didn't play him and I didn't bet him, so I got nothing to show for it other than that.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped. Like Fitzpatrick was my one and done, but other than that, it's just been another week of what the heck. Like we talked about Denny McCarthy, 12 straight made cuts, and then that went up in flames, which was great because that cost me like 3 6s, and it's all my fault because I was all aboard that train as well. So we'll see if he jumps back on that this week. But yeah, we had Rory finishing in second. Peng was a guy you discussed last week. He got up there. Hogard showed up. Rosie was there. Straka. A lot of Euros atop this board. And Scheffler 8. Ludwig showed up 8th. Xander, Wyndham Clark had a showing. And then the one I want to mention before we can probably move on, but Big Victor Hovland finished 11th, played healthy, and I'm going to be way too invested this week to get burned. I can't wait.
Yeah, I've already seen his name been floated around a bunch too. So apparently his short game was good, but his irons weren't. Solid 3 under though on Sunday. So finished with a double 18. So it could have been much better.
The last thing I'll mention is the ISCO took place last week, and they said the course was amazing, very difficult from what I saw. Harry Higgs had some funny comments, but I just wanted to throw out there Kevin Kisner, first top 10 since 2022. So he's back, baby. Ready to captain Team USA. Just kidding. Just had to throw that one out there. That shocked me when I saw that. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk Royal Portrush. I just have it right here, the 153rd Open Championship. So what do you got for some past event history?
Yeah, the mic is doing weird things here again, so bear with me, but I think we're good. Last year, Xander won 9 under, 2 shots over Billy Ho and Justin Rose. 2023 was Brian Harmon, 13 under, 6 shots over Day, Kim, Rahm, and Straka. 2022 was Cam Smith, 20 under, 1 shot over Cam Young. 2021 was Morikawa, 15 under, 2 shots over Jordan Spieth. The last time it was played at Royal Portrush was 2019. Shane Lowry won 15 under, 6 shots over Tommy Fleetwood. And then the time before that was non-existent. Yeah. So, I mean, really all that matters is that 2019 tournament where Shane won at 15 under, 6 shots over Tommy. Otherwise, it's a rotating bunch of courses like the Open Championship always has been, and the U.S. Open is, and PGA
And
is.
I remember very clearly that when Shane won that year, the weather was nasty. Very, very nasty is what took place there. And a couple days ago, things looked pretty calm, nothing too crazy. Things changed quickly in this neck of the woods, and there's expected to be a lot of rain Thursday, off and on rain every single day. Winds anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Don't seem to be crazy, but that can still change from today's recording till tea time on Wednesday. And a big reason this is a big issue is it's on the North Ireland coast. So it's just getting all that ocean weather to get you excited about and how it can screw things up. Royal Portrush is a par 71, a little less than 7,400 yard golf course. It's like I said, it's a links course, but an ocean links course. Lot of rolling fairways, a lot of routing, a lot of dog legs involved in this golf course. So it's a lot of you need to hit the right spots for your approach shot more than anything. Like driving distance can help tremendously, especially if it's windy, because these linksy courses can roll. But just remember, there's also a ton of pop bunkers in the fairway that can screw things up and make you hit things sideways and backwards. There's only 54 bunkers on this course, which I say only because that's a lot less than most links courses, all things considered. But there's fescue, there's out of bounds on like 8 holes, so that comes into play at times. Remember that when Lowry played with the wind, you had to really be creative with what you were doing out there to stay in play, let alone give yourself a shot to play. Unlike most links courses, I've heard it a million times already, and I remember it in Lowry's year. You can't just bump and run it and use the Texas wedge like you can at like St. Andrews or other linksy courses. These are all elevated greens, which is very rare for a links course. You have to be able to elevate the ball or scramble very well, chip very well onto these greens, which could be a game changer. Lowry had that going in his favor that week, so that was tremendous as well. So it's kind of you get the full links experience with almost like a modern day golf course approach, which makes it very interesting for a open championship. Because I love links golf. It's my favorite form of golf. That's why this is always my favorite tournament. It's a little bit of a twist, but like I remember watching Shane's year and it was must-see TV because at any moment you could just find the shit and be in massive trouble. And it's kind of like a US Open meets a links golf course if the weather gets bad, and then it gets really interesting. So I'm excited for it as usual. And what do you got for stats, I guess? Because it's pretty wide open. If you're off course, you might as well call it a weekend probably.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to be. I think accuracy is more key this week than distance. Bogey avoidance, I think, probably is a better stat to. Really, you need good iron players because that there's a lot of trouble, like you were saying, off the tee, but also on second shots. You can miss the green by just a few yards and be in a gorse bush, and replaying your shot. Also, and save percentage because there's a lot of bunkers out there and there's a lot of just a lot of overall trouble. So it's kind of where I'm looking at, but it'll just be, I mean, really looking for guys who are hitting their irons well, avoiding the big number, and then obviously too trying to roll in some birdie putts. That I don't know if it gets to 15 under again this year. I feel like that's a bit of an outlier, especially since he won by 6 shots. So I really think it'll be closer to in the single digits, 8, 9 maybe.
Yep, I think that's probably much more accurate, especially if we get the weather that's starting to ramp up. If that gets any more difficult, there ain't going to be an easy day out there probably. And the other thing we'll mention, it's a field of 158. It's T70 in ties, and everyone tees off the first hole. So there are weather advantages, I guess, but there are no weather advantages at the same time. Like you don't have a full wave getting an advantage. You kind of, maybe it comes in the afternoon, so the early guys have an advantage, but there's no like you're teeing off from 1 and 10 and you're splitting the day and that kind of stuff. It's going to be a rolling situation out there, to say the least. But I guess there could be advantages if we get a better sense of the weather, but it changes so fast, you never really know. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk some DK out here, and we'll start with the 10K range. We have 4 golfers this week, and my God, I really don't know if I've seen a $14,000 golfer. We probably have in the last couple of years with Scotty Scheffler. The Scheffler is $14,200. Rory's 11.5, so nearly a $3,000 decrease, which is impressive. John Rahm's 10.4 and DeChambeau's 10.1. So 2 live golfers and then the best golfer in the world in Rory McIlroy. So what do you like in this 10K and above range?
I mean, it's odd. That's definitely an odd price. I mean, like it makes it a lot more difficult to play Scotty, and maybe that's what they're going for. Obviously, you got some $5,000 guys as the minimum. I mean, I don't have any of those guys. Spoiler alert that
Nope.
I'm willing to play. I mean, like 5,900 is about as low as I'm willing to go in that range. So it does make things more difficult because you're immediately at 7,100 per player left if you click on Scotty. And it's just odd because, like, if this was the Masters, I could see it, but he's not had a whole heck of a lot of success over, across the pond, and it's just odd to me that they would price him up that much. Obviously, finished 8th last week. Can't take that away from him. He hasn't finished outside the top 10 and since the Players Championship. I mean, it is an incredible run that he's on, which doesn't really feel that incredible just because we've, I think, become accustomed to it. But I mean, finished 7th last year at the Open Championship. I don't know, man. It's just hard to click on his name. I wouldn't talk anybody off of Rory. He finished. He missed a cut here in 2019. 2012 was the other year that I was looking for. No, must have been a different tournament. 2012, he played in a tournament here and finished 10th. So I think he's fine. John Rahm, it's 11th here in 2019. Come off a second place finish last week. So, he is what he is. And then Bryson is what he is. I mean, I wouldn't talk anybody out of playing any of these guys. I think probably the guy to click on for me, though, if I was going to have to be forced into choosing one, would be Rory, just based on price and then how he played last week. I think he's mentally back.
Yeah, it's just tough. And I think I might be speaking out of school. I think this is Rory's home course. Wasn't that the big narrative in 2019? Like I know it's Northern Ireland. I know he's Northern Irish. Maybe it's not exactly home course, but it's basically a home game for Rory. Like this one means something, as they say, if you want narratives involved in this. Scotty's the clear play, but I don't know how you click that button with confidence. I'll be very honest, because even like last week, you look at a lot of people that won. Scotty played well, but that combination you have to put together, tricky. Not most winning lineups did not have Scotty in them. Let's put it, at least the ones I saw that were out there. So I'll probably be off of Scotty. I love John Rahm. He's 13th in my model. Those things can fluctuate because we don't have the live stats, but he's been a top 10 machine in live. But another great week last week, as you mentioned. He finished second in over there in Spain, playing great golf. He plays pretty decent in the Opens. Last I checked, there's my mouse. He had a 7th last year, 2nd, 34th, 3rd, 11th. Obviously, they're different courses, but he finished 11th here in 2019. So I'll go with some John Rahm as my top choice here. I want nothing to do with Bryson DeChambeau. If he's in the final group on Sunday, I will be loving watching TV, be all excited about that because he is must-see TV. But this situation just never fit his game well at all. So give me all the John Rahm in this range at 10-4 if I go this way, which probably won't based on the next couple ranges of pricing. The 9K range, we have Xander at 97, Fleetwood 95, Lowry, the defending champ at this course, at 93, Ludwig 91, and Bobby Mack at 9,000. What do you like in this range?
All?
Yeah, it's the next two. I'm not going to say. Yeah, this range is very good.
Yeah, it's the one reason why it's like, why do I want to click on one of these really expensive guys when I can, kind of get some more value down here? Xander finished 8th last week. He has won a Open Championship in the past, I do believe. I think it was last year, right? I think we just talked about this last week.
Yep.
Yeah, last year. Yes, correct. All right. Tommy, the problem with Tommy obviously is like, can he actually win? He did finish 2nd here, a distant 2nd, albeit to Shane in 2019. 2nd at the Travelers, 34th last week. I think he'll be pretty popular. I'd rather just play Shane Lowry myself. His form coming in isn't as good, and then Ludwig is definitely playable, I think, with the 8th place finish last week. And then Bobby Mack, man, so I heard a little snippet on Bob here. He finished 6th here in 2019, first of all. 65th last week after winning the Scottish Open last year. He was not happy. He was one of those guys who he wasn't going to come out and say it like this place is shit, but he wanted to say that, and he just, for political reasons, I'm sure, didn't say that. He wasn't happy with it, but I expect him to bounce back in a big way this week, because I mean, before that 65th, he was 17th at the Travelers, second at the U.S. Open. So the form is there. It's just obviously maybe get a little better headspace. So I really like Bobby Mack at 9,000.
Yep, pretty much in line. Like Xander's a guy I usually stay away from, but when we're talking $9,700 for obviously defending British Open champion, a guy that's starting to come into form. He had those injuries early in the season, but that 8th last week, like a 61st at the Travers, at 12th at the U.S. Open, major type situation, obviously. And then you mentioned the win last year, 17th, 15th. He plays well in the links environments. Zero problem with Xander. Fleetwood, I will continue to play. I know it's like, you got to hope he wins one of these days. Will he win? Who knows? But he's putting a ton of top 10, top 20 performances together. So he's not crushing your fantasy lineup. Like if you look over the last 24 rounds, he's 21st in my model, but he's 5th in good drives was what you wanted this course. 5th in double avoidance. He's 6th in scrambling. He's 3rd on the par fours, 4 to 450. Just 19th in approach in general. Like there's a lot to like with Tommy. I like Lowry for everything you mentioned. There's 11th in my model. Obviously rates out good at this course because he's won this course. Ludwig I'm out on, but I know I can be wrong on at all times. And Bobby Mack I love a ton at $9,000. 19th in my model. He's 3rd in bogey avoidance or double avoidance, so he avoids the big number, which is huge. 15th in good drives. He scrambles decently, not great, but decently. There's a lot to like in my mind with Bobby, to your point, and I will be all over him. So it's a range where a lot of my lineups will have 2 guys probably coming out of this range and mixing and matching it quite a bit. Now I have some issues here. Tyrell Hatton's $8,900, asinine. Morikawa 87, JT 85. How the hell is Vic Hovland 83 in this event? Neiman's 82, Cantlay's 81, and Brooks is 8,000. This is some of the most mispriced. There's always a group of, usually it's Tony Finau, Matt Kuchar over the years. This is insane to me in some of these prices.
Yeah, I mean, Hovland, I think, probably is a little bit low there. They did come out with these before the tournament was finished, so they came out with Saturday. But either way, yeah, Terrell, I mean, obviously been playing live, 23rd last week, 5th in Dallas, 4th at the U.S. Open. So I do think he's going to be popular. Vic, coming off the good finish last week, where he finished 11th, could have been better, but withdrew from the Travelers and then finished 3rd at the U.S. Open. So pretty similar. For me, Cantlay, 41st here in 2019. I think he'll go overlooked massively in this range, 32nd and 12th in his last 2 starts. He did miss the cut at the U.S. Open and at the PGA Championship, so that's not great. But you got to think he's got to be a little bit motivated to not miss 3 out of the 4 major cuts this year. So, and I just feel like with the guys around him, like a lot of people are going to click on Hatton. A lot of people are going to click on Victor. I could see Patrick being under-owned versus those guys especially.
Yeah, I'll start with the Cantlay thing because he's 8th in my model, so I was really struggling. I haven't clicked. It was like the 2 major miscuts scare me. He finishes okay at the Opens, but nothing great. So I'm sitting there like trying to figure out what to do with him. I'm leaning not playing him, but I agree with your point. Like $800 for a guy that's skill set's really good, and like he rates out with the stuff I'm looking at, plays very well in those situations. So I could see it. Neiman at 82. It seems like the buzz has died down from Joaquin Neiman, which is exciting to me because I think he's still one of the better golfers in the world. So $8,200 is quite intriguing to me. This is a guy that did miss the cut here last time around. He does not have great open experience. He's missed 2 out of the last 5 cuts, finished 53 to 59th the other 3 years. So obviously not great. So keep that in mind if you so choose. Vic Hovland is 2nd in my model. Love everything about Vic. Loved him last week. The finish is great. He rates out phenomenally. 1st from 175 to 200, 2nd from 150 to 175. He's 11th on par fours, 4 to 450. He's just good. And if he's healthy, I'm very excited about Vic Hovland. And then Tyrell Hatton, I will have a lot of. He's 3rd in my model. He's playing really well on LIV this year. He won the Dubai Desert Classic on the DP World Tour this year. His approach game, he's 14 from 150 to 175, 19 from 175 to 200. Avoids the big number. He's 12th in good drives. He's 9th around the green. All the stuff we're looking for in this situation. 6th at this golf course in 2019. Missed the cut at 21, 11th in 22, 20th in 23, missed cut in 24. So, yeah, there's missed cut potential at these golf courses with conditions, but he's played very well at the Open, especially in 2019 at this exact golf course. So, love me some Tyrell Hatton, who's also finished 4th at the U.S. Open, a guy that's playing very good golf. 7K to 79, we can group it all together. It goes Henley, Fitzpatrick, Spieth, Rose, all the way down to Dietrich and Harmon. Who do you like in the 7K range?
Quite a bit here. Russell Henley at 79. Never played here, but he did finish 2nd his last time out at the Travelers, 10th at the U.S. Open, 5th at the Memorial. So 3 straight top 10s for Russell. Fitzpatrick, man, dude's trending. He is trending. Finished 20th here in 2019, 4th, 8th, and 17th in his last 3 starts. So he is starting to figure it out again, which doesn't bode well for the Ryder Cup. But for now, I mean, $7,800 for him, I do feel like is pretty low given his last 3 starts. Jordan Spieth, 20th here in 2019, 23rd his last time out, which was the U.S. Open, 7th at the Memorial. So another guy who maybe has it figured out. The problem with Spieth, obviously, is always the driver. And if it gets anywhere off the map, literally, I was watching, I don't know if you ever watched the Making Cut series with the Brian Bros and Grant Horvat.
Once in a while, yeah, I'll throw it on.
So they've got 2 rounds posted now at this point. The first hole at this place, there's out of bounds left and right.
Yeah.
And it's not
that
like
doesn't sound good for Jordan.
It's not like it's probably a lot more scary in your mind than it really is when you get up on the tee, especially if you're a pro. But like I could see Jordan blast one OB on the first hole and it like just be over with. Sam Burns,
just real quick on Spieth. The 2 things: wife just had the baby, third baby. So you got dad swag. But
okay.
I'm wondering about the injury. He's been banged up for a while. That's like the back, the neck, whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
Of course, reporting. But
right, he was taking a month off.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I doubt he would play if he couldn't.
Yeah, and it's I just feel like for GPP, like he has high upside. Of late, he doesn't have as much upside, but when the game is there and it maybe potentially is trending, who knows? All right, Sam Burns, 7,400. I liked him last week. He ended up finishing 47th. Put in a solid 68 on Sunday. Before that, had 3 straight top 20s, including 2 top 10s. So I think going back to Sam is definitely doable. He's never played here. Adam Scott at 7,300. He did miss the cut here in 2019. However, 17th last week at the Scottish. And he was in contention at the U.S. Open. We talked about it. He's playing very good golf right now. And then Corey Connors. Is he hurt? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's hurt or not. He did play last week, finished 47th. So that's probably a good sign that he's not hurt. He did miss the cut here in 2019. So, and then Ryan Fox, dude, 16th here in 2019. Played last week, made the cut, finished DFL of the guys who made the cut. But 17th, 19th, and 1st in his last 3 starts. Has 2 wins on the year. Ryan Fox played here before, finished 16th here. Again, like I said, in 2019. So that's where I'm at in that range.
And when it comes to Fox, I think he just like crapped the bet on Sunday, if I remember correctly. He opened up really well, and he made the cut, and it kind of petered out on the weekend. But yeah, go back to Fox for sure. The recent form's great. The history here is great. Love me some Ryan Fox.
You're talking about last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are correct. You are correct.
Sunday, I think he kind of dribbled down.
Well, he shot 74, 72 over the weekend.
Yeah, so that'll do it. That'll take him back. But I jumped right back on that train, so I'm with you on that. P. Reed at 71. I will be going right back to he's 18th in the model. We know he can avoid the big numbers. We know he's got a phenomenal short game, which will come in handy here. Playing another guy playing really well on Live Golf. I know you guys probably all laughing. Ooh, Live Golf. He's also played well on the DP Tour. Love late when he's shown up there. So don't mind me some P. Reed, and let's see how has he done. He finished 10th here in 2019, so I don't mind going back to Mr. P. Reed. I'm with you on Adam Scott as well. Ben Griffin has missed both cuts the last 2 years in the Open Championship. He missed his most recent cut, I believe. Where says that? No, yeah, at the John Deere, but 13th, 14th, 10th. The previous two, the 3 events, the 10th was at the U.S. Open. I don't mind going back to Ben Griffin. Maybe he's just not a links guy, but we know when it comes to approach game, one of the better in this field. He's 6th in this field in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds. Great, really good at scrambling as well. Avoids the big number, 6th in bogey avoidance, 11th in double bogey in this field. So you can ride that. Love Sepp Straka at $7,400. Not a great approach guy, but also a good drives guy. 9th in this field and good drives over the last 24 rounds. We're talking about finding fairways. I forgot to mention earlier, it looks like the fairways are only going to be about 27 yards wide. So it's not like we're going extra wide on this course. Something to think about.
It's a narrow place.
Yeah, it's very narrow. So 22nd and 2nd in the last 2 Open Championships he's played, and he did not play here in 2019. Hideki Matsuyama rates out beautifully. He does this a lot on approach style golf courses. Shocker. He also scrambles very well. That's why he did well at Augusta. He's 5th in my model at $7,500. Now, the problem with Hideki, if you're a history person, 66th, 13th, 68th the last 3 Opens. Missed the cut here in 2019. And if you look at recent form in general, 13th at Rocket Mortgage, 30th at Travelers, 42nd at U.S. Open. I like him in tournaments. I really do. I'm terrified, but I like him. Justin Rose at 76. I will continue to play at events. I guess I played him last week. He finished 6th at the Scottish Open at like 3% owned. Finished 2nd last year, as you mentioned, 20th in 2019. So don't mind Rosie. Fitzpatrick I had in every lineup last week. I'll be back heavy on him again this week for every reason you mentioned. Russell Henley is another great play. Did not play here in 2019. 5th last year at the Open as a really, really a good approach player. So does rate out very well in this field. He's 6th in my model. As he's also really good around the green, and he finds fairways. A lot of things you're looking for at this event. All right, 6K range as we're starting to run out of people here. Goes Minwoo Lee, JJ Spawn, Aaron Rai, Sung J M, got her up at $6,900. All the way down to about 12 guys at 6K, highlighted by Nick Taylor, who I will have too many shares of, and Michael Kim. Who do you like in this range?
It seems like a really low price on Spawn. I know he missed the cut last week, and has never played here. Let's see, where did he finish last year at the Open? Did he even play it? Did not play it. Played the Barracuda. Anyways, I mean, at $6,900, I'd be willing to take a chance on him. Aaron Wright, $6,900 as well. 47th last week. 17th and 33rd in his 2 starts of that before that, which were the Travelers in the U.S. Open. Got her up. I know he's coming off the big dub there, but I mean, obviously he can win.
He's not even priced like he has to win. Is the best part,
right? Yeah, I mean, and you just need to make cut out of him. He's coming off a dub, so I mean, like it just depends on how you want to view that. But 6,900. Finau at 68, finished 3rd here in 2019. Yeah, I mean, this is insane. But either way, 3rd here in 2019. He hasn't missed a cut since the Masters. So, I mean, the finishes aren't great. But again, we're down here in the 6K range. So we're not really expecting to get the winner down here. We're doing the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole range. Go for it.
Ricky Fowler at 6,500, finished 6th here last time they had it, which was 2019. 18th in his last start at the John Deere Classic. Missed the cut at the Rocket Mortgage, but whatever. Nikolai Horgaard at 65. 4th last week at the Scottish, 24th at the Rocket. So two really good starts for him in a row. Lee Westwood finished 4th here in 2019. Been playing all that live golf. Finishing inside the top 40, which is not really that good on that circuit, but either way, it's what he's been doing. Matty Schmid at 6,200, missed the cut here in 2019, but 17th last week. Played the BMW, which is another DP World Tour event, finished 7th in the week before that. So 17th and 7th last 2 starts. Lucas Glover at 6,100, 20th here last year. 2 straight top 10s for Lucas Glover. Now, one of them was the John Deere Classic, but the other one was the Travelers. So obviously he's got a little bit of form there. And then, like you said, Nick Taylor. Mentioned him last week and finished in 22nd, 17th, 23rd, 13th, 4th in his last 5 5 starts there, 4 starts before that. So basically 5 straight top 25s for Nick Taylor at 6K. Seems a little bit low, but here we are.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I said I'll take my chances on 6K Nick Taylor all day to help soften the blow. Like at that point, guys won a few events over the last couple of years. He's finishing. He's at top 25 basically. He's 11th in good drives in this field, so that's what's helping out a lot. Probably setting himself up for opportunity. So yeah, I like Taylor. I'm gonna keep. He's probably super chalky. Marco Peng is what I'm gonna call him. He finished. He tied for second last week in Scotland. He's been playing phenomenal on the Euro Tour of late. He bombs the ball. He's 6th in driving distance, but he's still 21st in good drives. So he's long and straight. So I'll take a chance on him at 6K. I have the glove at 61. I'll mention him later in our betting segment as well. So I like the glove this week. Bud Cauley at 61 is interesting. If you're looking at an approach game, very solid approach. Okay, it's like mediocre scrambling, decent drives. I like the Schmid call. Denny McCarthy, I'll go right back to him on this one because he is another guy that does find fairways and a decent approach game. We know he can get hot with the putter. Andrew Novak is interesting just because of his history. I don't mind that. Seabez at 62 finished well last week. He had a hole-in-one, I believe. That obviously helps, but missed the cut here last year, missed the cut in 2019, so not the best open history. But if we're looking at what he did last week, where the hell did Seabez go? It's such a ridiculously large range. He finished 13th last week, so don't mind that. Scrolling back up, Davis Thompson rates out very well for me. He's first from 150 to 175, 8th from 175 to 200. Those are your proximity buckets. He's 23rd in my model. Harris English is 17th because he's got a really good approach game. He's 10th in finding fairways, decent scrambler, very good on the par fours from 4 to 450. Same with Harry Hall. They both rate out very, very, very well at $6,400. Harry Hall has never played an Open Championship. Harris English finished 50th last year and not playing in 2019. Both coming in very good form. Nikolai Hogard at 65 is not a bad option. He finished very well last week, 4th last week at the Scottish Open, 24th at the Rocket Mortgage. He could be figuring things out. Finished 66 or 66, 23rd, 53rd the last 3 Opens. Dean Burmeister is a guy I always look because he pounds the driver, and if he can stay in the fairway, he can hit plenty of options because his approach game is at least decent. Keegan Bradley's 9th in my model. He's playing really good golf. He's 4th around the green. He's 7th in double avoidance. He's 16th in good drives. So I don't mind Keegs in this field. Wyndham Clark played really well last week. It got a little windy. He played really good. I think he's a good tournament play at 67. I would not put him in any type of cash, but I think there's definitely an upside with Wyndham Clark. I like Goddard for everything we already talked about there. I like JJ Spawn for everything we talked about already. It's like there are a lot of options in the 6K range if you want to get frisky that I'm not opposed to, which might make it palatable to roster Scotty at 14-2, but not ideal when you look at how you could jam a bunch of 9 and 8K guys and make it happen. All right, 5K range. Do you have anybody?
Jordan Smith at 5,900. I think I mentioned him last week. And it finishes 22nd, 2nd the week before that, 28th the week before that, all European Tour events. John Perry, 5,500 if you wanted to go that low. 55th last week. And Nathan Kimsey, 5,400. 53rd in his last start, which was the BMW. 13th in the start before that. He's just kind of been making a bunch of cuts for a guy in this range. So on the DP World Tour. And yeah, I mean, that's it. Maybe Stu Sink if you want to get real, just weird. Yeah. I mean, we're starting to really get in the weeds here. So best of luck if you're down here. Yeah, Brian Campbell, 2-time winner on the tour this year.
Not a chance I'm doing that. No, I'm better off if he let him win twice a year and never make another cut. I'll just keep the another cut thing. Christopher Ratlin, he's $5,900. Finished 13th last week in Scotland. He's a Euro Tour player. Matteo Monacero, he missed the cut last week, but was coming in like with a lot of good history at the Scottish Open. He's 20th in my model, 1st in scrambling in this field, 6th around the green, 1st in the par fours. 4 to 450. When you look at this event, he finished 31st at the Open Championship last year, which is obviously a plus. He finished 6th at the Canadian Open. So Manacero is a guy I don't hate. Nicholas Echeverria, I'll go back to him. He had a hole in one. I know that for sure. In Scotland, he finished 22nd last week, miscut at the Deer, 5th at the Rocket Mortgage. Echeverria has never played the Open Championships. Keep that in mind. Matt McCarty has never played the Open Championship either. But he's at $5,600. He was 22nd last week, miscut 19th at the Rocket, missed the U.S. Open, 4th at the Canadian Open. So if you're looking for some kind of cheapy darts, I don't hate those. And like McCarty's at least mid-pack in most stats, but that's pretty much the only places I'm going to force anything in this range. All right, who's your pick? Let's recap things. 10K range, not named Scotty.
I'm just going to say Rory.
Yeah, I'll go Rambo. Give me some Rambo on this one. Now it gets fun. 9K range.
Robert McIntyre.
I like that a lot. I will go with Shane O'Mac. 8K range.
I'm going to say Cantlay just to be a little bit different than everybody else out there.
Yeah, I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to have pretty much Vic and Hatton, if not one, if not both, in every lineup I build this week, and I will just go down with a ship if that takes place. 7K range, go ahead and give 2.
Fitzpatrick and Fox.
Those are 2 of the best plays. I'll go P. Reed in this one, and Justin Rose. It's boring as hell, but give me Justin Rose. 6K range, and go ahead and give 2 also.
Nick Taylor and JJ Spawn.
Yep, Nick Taylor will be in most of my lineups as well. I pretty much gave you a core right now if you want. I don't think I mentioned him, but Taylor Pendrith at 65 if you want a GPP play, because he's a bomber, of course. Trouble finding the fairways, but 4th in double avoidance. And the thing with Pendrith, I think I did skip him when I was talking about. Let me highlight this real quick. So when it comes to Pendrith, where are you, my friend? Never played an Open Championship. Just keep that in mind. But when it comes to Mr. Taylor Pendrith, 13th at the Scottish Open, 25th at Travelers, 38th at the U.S. Open, 27th at Canadian. Another one's kind of like top 25 guys at $6,500 with some upside to really get rolling. So I'll go with Pendrith to be different in that one because I don't think many will be on him in that range. And I'll go Keegan Bradley. 5K range.
Jordan Smith.
I will go with Matthew McCarty, and just pray you don't have to be down here. If you're playing cash this week, Jesse, where are you starting out?
Go Henley, Burns, Nick Taylor.
I would go Henley, Nick Taylor, and I'll throw in Justin Rose because I think he at least makes the cut, I think. If you're playing GPP, though, where you at?
We'll go Rory, and then Cantlay, I've already said his name 1,000 times, and Adam Scott.
Yeah, like I said, I pretty much gave my core away. I'll go with Hatton, Vic, and Nick Taylor. You can build a lot of ways around that. All right, the most important part, Jesse. Who do you got winning this thing?
I mean, some people would say the least important part, seeing as how I can't buy a winner.
A lot of people can if you look at the people that have been winning lately.
I mean, yeah, anybody who had got her up, hats off, man. I don't know what to tell you. So just kind of starting down the list here. Hovland at 30. Bobby Mack at 40. Next would be Fitzpatrick at 55. Burns at 80. And then Ryan Fox at 90.
I like those. Some T20s I put down. P. Reed at plus 210. Justin Rose at plus 240. Nick Taylor at plus 320. Marco Pang at plus 360. And Lucas Glover at plus 400.
Let me ask you this while I got you. Do you like anybody in particular to win the home run derby tonight?
Let me see what the odds are. Let me give you that odds based.
I don't know. I don't know a single name on this list.
The big dumper, Cal Raleigh's a beast, but I don't think that's it. Camaro's interesting. O'Neal Cruz is plus. If you want a long shot, Brent Rooker at plus 850 seems pretty appetizing.
Okay.
If you just want some fun money on it.
Yeah.
The plus 350s, like O'Neal Cruz could put on a show, but I think Rooker could be interesting, or he'll be really, really disappointing, one of the two. But dude, it's 30 plus home runs every season, so it's not like it's his first time. We'll see.
I got you. See, I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what we'll do then is we'll do a parlay with Rooker and then all those other guys I mentioned to win. Obviously, I do them individually.
Yeah, seeded round robin, basically.
Well, kind of, but
kind of, yes.
It's just going to be Rooker and then all those guys. So we're going to get them at much better odds, and then that way, when they don't win, we still lose the same amount of money.
I like your style. All right, well, let's root for Ben Rooker tonight and see where Brent Rooker tonight and see where it goes, and hopefully big things happen. But any final thoughts on the Open Championship? As I'm very much looking forward to it. I don't know how much I'll get to watch, unfortunately, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, I won't get to watch much except for Sunday evening. I got a trip that starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I get home Sunday, and usually I am passing out as I'm trying to watch the end of it. So, but yeah, otherwise, it's always a great tournament, and just always fun to watch something completely different than what we get over here. So cherish it while you can, because it's hard to believe, but the golf season is almost over.
Yep, playoffs are in a few weeks, which is sad to see. But yeah, the Open Championship is one of the best nap days ever because it's such a long day of golf. Like you can get a quality nap in and still see like the last 7 holes of golf. It's beautiful.
Right.
So enjoy it. And the last thing I will mention, it happened about 20 minutes before we started recording. Joel Don and Gino, they parted ways.
Yeah, I saw that. That is nuts.
That's a sad day out there. I don't know who's gonna. We all love Joel, but he is a head case, and I don't know the right caddy in that situation will be quite interesting to find on that.
Yeah. You could look to both of them. I'd say Joel just wants to kind of get out. If I was guessing, I think he's probably burnt, is my guess. But
yeah, I could see him wanting to go like the Wesley Bryan way of things. Let me go make some content, be entertained, and make a lot of money doing that. Because he could. He very much could. So
for sure,
we'll see where that goes, and we'll be back with you guys next week to preview another. I believe it's the last event before the playoffs. So we'll get you going there at I just totally blanked on where it's at. It's in the Northeast, I believe. But we'll get you guys covered there. You can follow Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, the podcast at Always Press DFS. I'm at PD Entrick. Until next time, this was your 2025 Open Championship preview. Catch y'all later.